Sam Alex is a high-ranking police officer, known as the Superintendent of Police, SP, in the Kerala Police. In his earlier days, he was known for staying calm in difficult situations and for being truly committed to both his work and his loved ones. He was a caring and devoted husband, and a father who deeply loved his little daughter. Sam found true happiness in the quiet and simple moments spent at home with his family. However, everything changed in the most terrible way possible. A terrible incident occurred that destroyed his life. One day, Sam's wife, Tina, and their young daughter were killed in front of him by a terrorist. The event was not only brutal but left a deep, emotional scar on Sam. Watching his loved ones die in such a horrifying way shook him completely. He was overwhelmed with deep grief and felt responsible, even though he wasn't to blame. Heartbroken and filled with rage, he hunted down the terrorist who committed the crime and killed him. Unfortunately, taking revenge didn't bring him peace. Instead of feeling better, Sam became even more broken inside. He could not escape the pain or forget the traumatic images burned into his memory. To cope, he started drinking heavily and became dependent on alcohol. This was his way of trying to block out the sadness and the guilt he carried every day. Even though he was still a police officer, Sam wasn't the same person anymore. He no longer had the clear mind or strong drive that once defined his work. He was a shadow of the man he used to be, living life without any real purpose or direction. Seeing his decline, Inspector General Arvindaksha Menon, a senior officer who knew Sam's talent for solving tough cases, approached him with a puzzling mystery. Several young, recently married men had disappeared under strange and similar conditions. The local police couldn't solve the case. Menon believed Sam's sharp mind and past experience might be the key to cracking it. At first, Sam didn't want to take the case. He felt empty and didn't see the point of returning to active duty. He preferred to remain isolated from the world. But his mother, Marikatti, who had quietly watched her son's suffering, encouraged him to get involved. She believed that getting back into meaningful work might help Sam find new purpose and start healing. Her words moved something inside Sam. Slowly, and with some hesitation, he agreed to investigate. Once he took on the case, Sam threw himself into the details. He went over every document, including autopsy reports and post-mortem results. He even spoke directly with doctors who had examined the bodies. As he dug deeper, a pattern began to appear. Then, while Sam was investigating, 2 more men were kidnapped in the same strange way. This confirmed to him that it wasn't just random crime, it was the work of a serial killer with a clear purpose. Sam's sharp mind began connecting the dots. He figured out that the person responsible for the murders had a physical limp, likely due to one of his legs being shorter than the other. Several witnesses had mentioned this. Sam also realized that the killer had strong feelings, either deep anger or twisted love, toward women. There was something very disturbing and unique about the crime scenes. Each dead man had words carefully cut into his chest with a sharp tool. These weren't just random markings. They were messages left behind on purpose. Sam studied them closely and discovered that the words were written in Aramaic, an ancient language once spoken by Jesus Christ. Once translated, these strange messages turned out to be quotes from the Bible. This made Sam believe that the killer thought he was doing God's work, punishing people as a way to clean the world of sin. Sam then understood something disturbing. The murderer wasn't just violent, he was mentally disturbed and had religious delusions. In his twisted thinking, the men weren't being killed for their own sins, but because their wives had done something wrong. He believed the husbands were being punished as a sacrifice for the mistakes of their wives. As Sam looked deeper into the case, he found out something even more disturbing. All the wives of the murdered men had one thing in common: they all knew a man named Anand from their college days. But there was more to the story. These women had been cruel to Anand in the past. They had destroyed his sister's family while they were in college, and the pain they caused her had pushed the killer to seek revenge. When Sam tried to find records about Anand, he couldn't find anything. It was like he had disappeared from the system. Sam started to realize that the killer's actions weren't just about his anger, but about a deep grudge against these women who had ruined his sister's family. Sam soon guessed that Anand had changed his identity and was now living under a new name, Peter. Knowing the killer was organized and had a final target in mind, Sam worked even harder to find him. Then came a terrifying discovery: Anand's final target was Sam's own younger brother, Sanju. Sam learned that Sanju's wife, Anitha, had also been part of the group that knew Anand in the past. That made her the last piece in the killer's puzzle. Time was running out. Sam quickly joined forces with other police officers. Using evidence from forensics and tips from field agents, he tracked down Anand's location. Anand was hiding in a remote area near Kottayam. Sam rushed there without delay, determined to save his brother before it was too late. In a dramatic and dangerous face-off, Sam managed to kill Anand and rescue Sanju. The killing of Anand brought an end to the terrifying chain of murders. After this final confrontation, Sam felt like something inside him had changed. He had finally faced and beaten the nightmare that had haunted him for so long. With the case closed and the killer dead, Sam decided to give up alcohol. He wanted to live a better life and begin again. As a sign of forgiveness and healing, he adopted the daughter of Parvati, Anand's sister. This act gave a child in need a loving home, just like the one Sam had lost. Through this, Sam started a new chapter, not just as a police officer, but as a man who had found strength in the face of deep sorrow. Sam Alex's journey teaches us that even the deepest pain doesn't have to define the rest of our lives. We may fall, break, and lose everything we love, but healing begins when we choose to face our pain instead of running from it. Through courage, purpose, and compassion, it's possible to turn tragedy into strength and loss into a reason to love again. No matter how broken we feel, there's always a path forward if we are willing to take the first step.